I just want to take a step back, and you can tell me if I'm off my rocker, but like, it's all this doom and gloom. AI is going to take jobs. This is the best time in human history to be a small business owner.
Bold claim.
Kyle, if you're working at a company that's thousands of people and you're using AI, right? It's dispersed amongst the org. You're expected to use it in your job. You used to clock in and come to the office for 8 hours. You can now credibly do your work for 5 hours. So there's like, well, what happens to that extra 3 hours? Is it A, you fill that time with additional work, right? So now you're getting the equivalent of 11 hours done in 8 hours, right? That plus 3 hours accrues to the company. Is it B, you get 3 hours back and me and you can go both take our dogs for a walk? So that accrues to me and our dogs. Or is it C, you actually have to work harder and faster and run more scenarios and tests and gobble up tokens to prove the activity-based metrics that they're trying to measure you against and accelerate and hopefully ascend to keep your job and get paid the exact same amount? Do you think those are the three scenarios? Am I missing one?
So if you're an owner of the business, any benefit of AI accrues directly to you, which is such a different thing from being the employee. It feels like as an employee, there's no scenario, to your point, where you are the beneficiary of AI.
That's what I wanted to get out of the way, that like being an employee where you are not an owner and any improvements in margin or revenue don't directly accrue to you. Let's just go into the premise of this podcast, Kyle, that we're talking about businesses that are not venture backable.
Well, this reminds me, there was an Economist article this week that basically said in the current environment with AI, one of the most attractive job opportunities out there is actually not starting your own business. It is becoming a franchisee, owning that McDonald's franchise or other franchise where it's like proven brand, proven playbook, not disruptible from AI, but you can be the beneficiary from AI automation. They're basically arguing that this is a really interesting route for a lot of maybe tech workers even who are highly educated, like they've been well paid, but now they want to own their own destiny.
So you're saying this is finally the time for me to run my Dunkin' Donuts empire?
I didn't say Dunkin', I said McDonald's.
But like, seriously, if you work at a big company, the question is like, how do we make 10,000 employees 20% more productive? But if you're a Main Street business, my dad owned a physical therapy company growing up. I think your dad owned a used car dealership. Like you get to the point of saying like, how do we make 10 employees feel like 3?
Like looking at my dad's business as an example, it never made sense for them to hire like an office manager or admin. So like they had people that repaired cars and they had the owners. They managed the books, they managed inventory, they like sold the cars when people came in, they called people that were late on their payments. Like they literally did every single job. And thankfully it was like my dad and his brother. And so they could, split off the responsibility. Someone could go, acquire some new cars while the other was in the office, but they could never go on vacation at the same time. And there were all of these tasks that were like really valuable, business owner things that only the owner could do. And then there was calling down 1,000 accounts that were late on their payments, or maybe not 1,000. There's very different levels of work that like some people just really don't want to do. If you have to hire someone and manage like an employee and you're a small business with thin margins, you're just never going to hire people to do that thing. So you either do a shitty job of it or you just put in extra time to do it. And now AI can take that work off your plate.
It's so well said. It's all the stuff that's around the margins of the core thing that the business does. And you either don't feel confident enough to give it to somebody else, or you don't want to pay somebody else to do it, or it's not a big enough task to pay somebody full time, but it's still annoying enough.
Answering the phone. If you're working with a customer and the phone rings, that's normally a call that's going to voicemail, and then you at some point have to call them back, and maybe you don't get to it for a day or 2 days, and maybe it's someone asking about like this car that they see on the website or something, and by the time you've gotten back to them, they've gone to a different dealership and they bought from someone else, right? And so for a lot of these tasks, there was real ROI in doing them, but you just can't do like a million things at once.
They aren't what the owner got into this business to be doing. I know it sounds trite, like you didn't get into this auto business to be sending out invoices, but like these are the things that they probably don't enjoy, and things that maybe they're not even uniquely qualified to do, but just have to do by product of being a small business owner.
I mean, there's just so many of these things, especially in auto business, but really any business. Like if you're a salon owner, you get in for the love of the game.
Ali and the team at Tabs are building something that directly addresses one of the biggest headaches I see finance teams deal with today. Pulling data from your ERP, your CRM, your FP&A tools, and your usage systems and actually making it all work together. If you're running usage-based pricing or complex contracts, you already know how this usually plays out. Contracts live in one system, usage data lives somewhere else, billing happens in another tool. RevRec gets layered on top at month end, and finance ends up just reconciling everything by hand to close the books. This is exactly the problem Tabs was built to solve. Tabs is an AI-native revenue platform built for controllers and CFOs. It brings together data from your ERP, CRM, and real product usage into a single system of record. From there, it automates billing, collections, and revenue recognition without finance having to duct tape workflows together every month. If usage-based revenue is core to your business, this is the future of how billing and RevRec get done. Go check them out at tabs.com/run. That's tabs.com/run.